White House explores new direction on tax reform. The White House is signaling an interest in moving the tax reform debate in a different direction. A House tax reform blueprint, released last year as part of Speaker Paul Ryan's Republican Wisconsin Better Way agenda, had long been viewed as the starting point for tax reform. During the campaign, President Trump's tax plan was revised to more closely resemble it. But the Trump administration is now drafting a new proposal, with officials considering a range of policy options beyond what Republicans in Congress have put forward. Office of Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney told CNBC in a video posted Wednesday that it's too early to say if the White House's plan would resemble the House's blueprint. But he suggested the administration wouldn't hesitate to go its own way. "The House can go and do what they want to do," Mulvaney said. "We are going to formulate our own policies." The White House made clear after last month's collapse of an Obamacare repeal bill that it intends to take more of a leading role on tax reform. In the last several weeks, Trump and members of his economic team have been meeting with lawmakers, businesses and industry groups to get their input. A White House spokesperson said Trump is getting feedback from stakeholders to help develop a plan that will provide significant middle-class tax relief and make American businesses more competitive. Ryan spokeswoman Ashley Strong said in a statement that our intention has always been and continues to be to coalesce around a unified GOP plan, and those conversations continue. The most controversial aspect of the House's plan is its reliance on border adjustability to tax imports and exempt exports. While that tax is the cornerstone of Ryan's proposal, the Trump White House has yet to fully embrace it. The Washington Post last week reported that the White House was looking at other ideas, including a value-added tax and a carbon tax, neither of which are in the House plan. The Associated Press, meanwhile, reported that Trump was abandoning his campaign tax plan. The White House has pushed back on those reports, saying that a VAT and a carbon tax are not under consideration and that the campaign tax plan remains the administration's foundation on tax reform. Even if administration officials are simply batting around ideas, it seems clear that Trump's team is open to a different approach. "It definitely looks like they're going to do their own scouting and come up with their own idea," said Alan Cole, an economist at the Tax Foundation. Trump has also floated linking tax reform with infrastructure, which is not part of the House Republicans' plan. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, said on Newsmax TV on Thursday that he thinks the two issues will be addressed separately. Administration officials have suggested that they will move deliberately on tax reform and care more about getting tax reform right than meeting a deadline. But with the healthcare efforts floundering, White House officials are under pressure to get Trump's legislative agenda back on track. "That I think is their motivation," said Mark Gerson, vice chairman of the tax department at Miller and Chevalier and a former tax counsel to the House Ways and Means Committee. One consideration for the White House as it weighs its next move on tax reform is whether the House GOP blueprint can pass Congress. The plan is already facing pushback from some Republicans lawmakers, particularly in the Senate, over the border adjustment provision. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch, Republican Utah, said late last month that the Senate is unlikely to simply pass a House bill without our members having significant input on the substance of the bill. "If tax reform happens, it will be because the president has picked out a plan, and herded the members of Congress into voting for it," Cole said. If the administration opts against the border adjustment proposal, it would have to find another way to raise revenue to pay for lowering tax rates. The version of Trump's tax plan that he released in September doesn't include border adjustability, but has a number of other similarities to the House GOP tax plan, including individual tax brackets of 33%, 25% and 12%. Both plans would also lower the corporate tax rate. Given the similarities, White House may still ultimately put out a proposal that is in line with the House blueprint, even if changes some of the details. "I think there's a lot of the Ryan proposal that works for them," said Dean Zierb, National Managing Director of Alliant Group and a former senior counsel to the Senate Finance Committee. He added that the basic elements of the Ryan plan would be in any Republican tax proposal. Leading tax writers in the House have expressed support for the White House's efforts on tax reform. House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Kevin Brady, Republican Texas, said on CNBC earlier this month that it's encouraging and helpful that administration officials are engaged in the tax reform process and considering a range of options. He said that Trump's economic team is trying to find the right, most pro-growth tax code. "The sooner the White House and Congress can get on the same plan, the better it is," Brady added.